Hey guys, Crystal Thompson here. Today I have the Simon Says Stamptember collaboration with Stamp Market, just because stamp set is the beautiful stamp set with a set of leaves and very fun sentiments that are going to be really fun to deal with. We are going to do some watercoloring. Let's do gold embossing. You're going to need some watercolor cardstock, embossing ink, and vellum. We're going to begin by creating the background of our watercolor card, and I'm going to select some fall muted colors. Of course, these are going to be really fun, and it's going to really allow that gold embossing to pop. So I have a water brush, and I am adding the water directly to my water colors here, and I am letting the watercolor kind of sit with a little bit of water to create a very creamy color. I went from the green to the orange, trying to skip ahead just a little bit, give it a couple minutes to dry. That way I could come in with my yellow and it have not run into each other. I am going to come back and do second swipes on every color to really make it stand out, because we are going to heat emboss on this and I want that gold color to pop up. So every time I move my brush, I'm actually going off to clean it off onto a baby wipe. And the last color we're going to be using is this beautiful royal blue. And I am mixing just a tiny little bit from that red to the blue. I'm going to clean off and I'm going to go back to that olive green because it's dried up. I really want those watercolor strokes to come through. So I'm really just adding layers and layers. So depending on what colors you select, if you select really light colors, you do want to get them to be really thick so your heat embossing does pop through. So again, I am mixing just a little bit. We're going to let that dry. Once that's dry, I'm going to come in with some gold watercolor, create a nice thick medium, and then I'm going to splatter it all over. Be sure to protect your surface because it can be a little bit difficult to get these gold pigments off a white counter or surface if it's a porous surface. Okay, once that's dry, we are going to bring in some foil. So this foil was actually part of a Simon Says stamp kit previous, and I couldn't tell you what month it was. I think it was the B month. Anyways, I'm going to be using some of this. So I'm going to come in with my mono tape runner. I'm going to place it down, and as you can see, it's going to grab that gorgeous foil. So I'm going to add just a little more, and again, just doing little strips. I felt that it would be really fun to have these very vibrant gold strips. So again, this is just foil, and this is available on the Simon Says stamp store. And again, just coming in, making sure that all the sticky stuff, all the sticky runner is covered with foil. We are going to begin by heat embossing 3 of the leaves from the Stamp Market, just because. So I'm going to do one at a time. I'm going to stamp it with that clear embossing ink and then grab my gold Simon Says stamp embossing powder, cover it up before it dries up, and then repeat the process. So we're going to stamp again with that clear embossing ink and then repeat the process of covering it up with that gold embossing powder. Just be careful if you are not heat setting each one that you don't smudge it. See, like I just did. If you do, be sure to go ahead and cover quickly with more powder so you don't lose your image. So I am doing this. I am stamping on vellum. This vellum has a little bit of texture, so you know it's even more important that the watercolor stripes, the watercolor embellishments, are really nice and dark so they pop through. All right, last but not least, I am going to stamp that little delicate bow. I thought that was really fun. And then we're going to go ahead and heat set with our heat gun. Okay, we're going to do the thanks a bunch sentiment from the same kit, and I like to do all my heat embossing all at once. The gun is hot, everything's out, and then I can clean up all the little mess of the heat embossing powder that I made, and it just makes it super easy. So see how pretty that pops through. If you find that you didn't do enough of a solid color after you heat embossed, you can go ahead and go back and add more color, and just be sure to clean off the heat embossing because it's kind of going to resist it. All right, we're going to put our card together. We're going to place the watercolor cardstock onto a larger piece of of cardstock. In this case, it's been a quarter of an inch larger. And then I have my vellum leaves that I have cut around, and I did fussy cut these. I'm going to add a piece of foam on the back. It's one layered foam. We're going to remove that backing, and this is going to be the centerpiece. So this is going to be where we start layering all the other pieces. So every leaf being placed on the card is going to have some foam adhesive. Simon does have pre-cut foam adhesive, you can buy the roll. I like to use the roll just because I use so much of it. It's my favorite to go to material because I don't have to use dyes. All right, we're going to add some of that runner tape. And now you have the 3 leaves, and for a little finishing touch, we're going to come in back with that glue and then add that little bow. And that does it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we are featuring the stamp market just because. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Be sure to leave a sweet comment below. Talk to you later.